Okay, now we're going to talk about strategies for writing the job accomplishments. And this is very important. This section is the section that helps you shine. First thing is to omit generic job descriptions. You already took care of describing your job in the summary. And if you didn't write a summary, it's because you didn't need to describe your job. It was clear what you did. So let's look at an example here. In this resume, all we have are job descriptions. I designed plans. I handled on-site inspections. I reviewed completed plans for accuracy. This is literally describing his job duties. No show don't tell actions, no job accomplishments. So to fix it, I changed it into this. So we've got his job descriptions changed into a summary here. And then we've got in the bullets actual job accomplishments. He completed jobs quicker than expected. He clarified expectations. These are things he accomplished. He discovered a way to gather necessary information. Accomplishments, not just what his job duties were. So that's the very first tip. Make sure you get rid of any generic job descriptions. They do not belong in your bulleted list. All right, next. Begin every description with a powerful action verb. And we covered this in lesson 4 of the general tips section, so you can refer back to that. Make sure you select the correct action verb. Number 3, think of all the desirable, marketable skills for the job you're going in. What skills do you need in your field? I want you to make a list of them. For example, do you need to be a good communicator? Is it important to manage your time well? Is it important to be innovative and creative? Is it important to be self-motivated? Make a list of the traits and skills that are required for your field. So right now, I want you to just press pause on the video, and in like the little margin of your resume or on the back side of it, just jot down a list. List down all the traits you think you need in your in your field. Okay, now that you have the skills written down that you need to market, you need to make sure to show them in your job descriptions. For example, let's say that you worked at Burger King and you're like, how do I show marketable skills in Burger King? Well, there are always ways to do so. Let's say one of the marketable skills that you wrote down was to be self-motivated. Well, what does it mean to be self-motivated? It simply just means that you set a goal and you make a plan and you work hard and eventually you achieve and reach that goal. So did you make any goals? Did you improve as an employee? This would show self-motivated. So you ask yourself, how do I show self-motivated at this current job? And if that job was Burger King, I can give you an example. When I worked at Burger King, I was so bad at the drive-thru. I was terrible. I couldn't hear their orders. I mixed up their orders. I couldn't remember what the previous order was for the car in front because I was currently expediting the next order, and I got all confused. So I set a goal. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to just take this. I'm going to get better. So I asked my manager to give me the opportunity to drive through more often. And I came up with a little mnemonic system to help me remember orders so that I could currently be expediting the first car's order while taking the second car's, and I could remember them. So I could write this in my resume. Improved in ability to quickly take drive-through orders by requesting to work drive-through and creating my own system for success. This shows self-driven and motivated. So now it is your turn. I want you to apply tips 1 through 3. So here's what that means. You're going to go through your resume and you're going to cross out any of those generic job descriptions, okay? And then the second thing that you're going to do is make sure that each and every one of your bullet points starts off with an action verb. Refer back to that handout that lists all the action verbs. Okay, make sure you've selected the right one. Then number 3, you're going to go through that list of marketable skills that you made on the back side of your resume, and you're going to narrow that list down. If you have way too many marketable skills, combine some of them. Like creative might belong with innovative, or good communicator can belong with team player. Okay? You want to only maybe have like 4 or 5. And then as you go through each job, you're going to go, okay, at this job, what did I do to show skill 1? Good communicator. At this job, what did I do to show skill number 2? Good time manager. And you can do more than one bullet point. So let's say like when you go, what did I do to show good communicator? You have 3 things that you did to show good communicator. Write all of them down. Okay, I want you to make a list of everything you did at that job that meets one of the marketable skills you wrote down. And then you go to the next job and do the same thing. So go ahead and press pause on the video, and you're going to apply tips 1 through 3 and then come back for the rest of the Okay, so now that you've made a list of all of your marketable skills and you've gone through and you've applied steps 1 through 3 so that you have all of your bullets written, all of your, you should have for each and every single job, you should have bullets written that show the marketable skills that you wrote down. So now we're going to go on to the next tip, which is to add in resulting statements. Now you're not going to do this for each and every single bullet point. That would be overwhelming. But you're going to pick a few of your bullet points and you're going to add in resulting statements. And here's what I mean by that. So let's say that your accomplishment says that you resolved potential conflicts, ensuring customer satisfaction without relying on your manager. Now that's a great accomplishment. And now you're going to ask, okay, so what was the result of that accomplishment? For example, it resulted in decreased customer complaints. So right there we've added in a resulting statement. Again, you're not going to do this for every single bullet point, but you're going to pick a few. We might have discovered a way to gather necessary information without time-consuming site visits. Well, what did that result in? Allowing for more time in the office, improving electrical designs. Employees want to know what you can do for them. And so your bullet points list your accomplishments, and then you want to add in a few results so they see how you achieved things and what kind of results you did for your other company, which means you can do for them. Which means you can do the same for them. Okay, oops, sorry. Now we're going to go to the next tip. Now you want to ensure that you have a balance of all those marketable skills that you wrote down. So you should have combined some so that you only had 4 or 5 marketable skills. And as you went through each job, you asked yourself, okay, what did I do at this job to show a critical thinker, if that was one of your marketable skills? And you may have written down 3 things that showed critical thinker, and I told you, write them all down. But now you want to make sure that you have a balance. Okay, you don't want to have way too many that show critical thinker and only like 1 that shows team player. So here's how you ensure a balance. On your resume, you just go through and next to each kind of bullet point, you write down what it shows. Okay, so next to this one, raise the standard for English instruction by preparing lessons centered on analysis and critical thinking. This shows teaching ability. Teachability. That's what that says. That says teaching ability. I know, my handwriting is beautiful when I'm writing with this. Chosen to represent my school on a district-wide committee. That shows leadership. But since that, what I did as a leader was make examples, teaching examples for others. It also shows teaching ability. Okay, implemented a writer's workshop model by providing more rigor. That shows teaching ability. Chosen to act as the gifted and talented liaison. That shows leadership. Designated the writing specialist on campus. That shows writing ability. Okay, so I'm going through and I'm writing down my marketable skills next to each bullet point. And you're going to do that for every single bullet point for every single job. And then you're going to go through and check to make sure you have a balance. Okay, I've got 1, 2, 3 that show teaching ability. And I'm going to keep going through all of them. And that's fine. I've got 1, 2 that shows leadership. Oh, but I only have 1 that shows writing ability. So on another job, I may want to add in a writing ability 1. Or you might find I have way too many that show leadership. Like as I go through all of my jobs, I might have way too many that show leadership. So while that's crucial, I'm going to cross out some of the leadership ones because I've already covered it to make room to show more writing ability or whatever my other marketable skill is. So you want to make sure that you have a good balance. Okay, then the next one is you only want to have 5 or less bullet points for every single job. And now that we went through and kind of found a balance, it's going to help you kind of decide maybe you can get rid of some of those bullets if you have too many. Like maybe you have 7 underneath one job, you need to get rid of 2. Well, it'll help you decide which 2 to get rid of as you go through that balance exercise. So this was kind of hard for me because I had a lot of bullets. So what I did when I had too many, what I did when I had too many here is I took the ones that were just job duties and changed them into a summary. So that got rid of some of them. And then I also kind of went through them and made a balance of my skills and saw which ones I could delete because I'd already shown writing ability enough, so it was deleted. And then I now only had the 5. So you want 5 or less bullets. So now what you're going to do on your resume is you're going to apply the remainder of these tips. So tip number 4 was to add in resulting statements for some of your accomplishments. So go through and add in resulting statements for a few of them. Then number 5, you're then going to go through and write down next to every single job accomplishment what skill it is marketing and showing. And then you're going to make sure you have a balance. And then the last tip is to make sure you only have 5 or less bullets. So it helped to do that balance exercise so you kind of know which ones to delete, or maybe you need to add some. Okay? So again, go through, add in resulting statements, check your balance of all your marketable skills, and make sure you only have 5 or less bullet points. And then when you're done with that, you've gone through all the tips and you will have a great experience section.